Eileen McGoldrick here. I'm going to be printmaking from my Irish kitchen. Now, we're going to be using things that you may have in your kitchen cupboard, and if you don't, you may be able to find a substitute. I suggest maybe you use gloves with this because it's a bit late for me. I've been at it all morning. Basically, I've been using food dye in order to print with and beetroot. The reason I'm using beetroot is I found that it gave me a beautiful pink. So there's method in my madness. This blue dye, I put on some sponge. That's the beetroot on the sponge. And over here, I created my own green from the blue and the yellow. Now what you'll find is that some of these are stronger in colour than others. This yellow is particularly strong, so I needed a lot more blue than yellow, which is not how it usually is, to create this green. And I hope you can see, this is, it's a bit grubby looking, but this is what I've been printing with. It's the end of a celery stick. Now I made soup with the celery, so I'm not wasting food. So if you cut yourself some celery and you're making soup or whatever, and keep the end because it makes a beautiful print. The other thing I'll be printing with is an old lime that lay too long in my fruit bowl, so I wouldn't have eaten it anyway. I've got a smaller bit of celery, and you'll find out as I do it why. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my celery stick, and I could dip it in a sponge, but I actually found putting bits of beetroot down and dipping it on the beetroot gave me a good cover. Now watch this, looks like a rose without very much effort. Can you see? Give it another spin. So there's 3 roses. Now with my smaller bit of celery, this bit, I'm going to dip it into my beetroot again, and then I'm going to create some buds. Now I might have to turn it round a bit, print several bits. So there's my smaller one, another one over here. Now I've also got a different bit of celery, and what you'll find is that, if you keep these, they'll last for a while, and each celery stalk will give you a slightly different pattern. Now watch this. Right, this is the different rows. Can you see it's slightly different? And the other thing you can do is twist it, move it about, and then you get a different kind of shape. Okay, different kind of rose shape. And I also come off the edge of the paper so that, it's interesting. Right, so I've done that. Then with my green and cotton bud, don't know what that is. I think it's a piece of celery. I'm going to just paint in a background around my roses. Can you see that? Now this is just food dye, as I say. Now there's no reason why, if you've got paint, you can't use paint with this, or inks or whatever. But this is just a bit of fun to show you that, you can use stuff from the kitchen. Now the other thing I found with this is if I had a pen that's run out of ink, I can draw shapes into it. So I don't know if you can hardly see this, but what happens then, I'm trying to do some sort of leaf shapes. Normally I would leave it to dry and then come back into it, but I'm just going to drop this dye in, this food dye, and you can see the lines appearing? And it makes it look more organic. Do a bit the same here. Just move my pen about a bit, get my dye, throw it in, go back in there with a little bit of dye. So the other thing I can do is go back in to my dye and emphasize the flowers a bit better. See that bit of beetroot there? I can lift that off later. Don't worry about that. When it's dry, you can just knock it off. Now I'm going to, and then I get darker shapes. Now if I wanted to, say I wanted to keep some of this white, for instance, I could draw with a candle. This is just a tea light. Put in some marks, right? And this acts as a resist so that the dye won't stick to it. And I'll go back in with the green and show you what I mean. Can you see how the wax is resisting the green? So I'm getting marks of white. Can you see that? This is a really nice way of creating, you know, little pictures or cards. If this one's fabulous, I'll give it to my son. It's his birthday today. If it's not, I'll do another one. Because it has to be fabulous. Because he is. So, and to everybody else out there who might be having a birthday, happy birthday. Right. Voila. Right, this is my lime. Sticking it down. Now, when I did this with the lime, I thought it looked like, you know, one of those dandelion clocks that you blow. So I'm, with my pen, I'm drawing a stem that you can't see until I put the green in. And I'm going to make some marks into this as well that I'm going to be reprinting on. So I'm going to get my trusty green, throw it in. And then when that's dry, I'd go back in with my blue and add a bit more colour to it. And the other thing is I could do little prints as if the clock's blowing. You know when you blow those, the things come off them?